everyone, welcome to our likes and wishes of our recent 8-night Caribbean cruise on Royal Caribbean's Adventure of the Seas. Thank you so much for joining us today and listening on the Cruising Show podcast. Today we're going to be covering 4 categories about the Adventure of the Seas.
Yeah, we'll be talking about the layout and amenities, as well as our Oceanview Cabin, the free food and restaurants, as well as the entertainment and activities.
And we have a new family member here. This is Lacey.
She is our new golden retriever puppy. Technically our daughter's retriever puppy, but we get to enjoy her.
I don't think she's going to make it through the whole video, but we will try our best to see how long she lasts. But let's go ahead and dive right into our likes and wishes from our 8-night Caribbean cruise on the Adventure of the Seas. So Andrea, the layout and amenities of the Adventure of the Seas, and you may have noticed we already lost Lacey.
I know, she wanted to go play, so we let her go. Yes, let's talk about this. Now, I love this class of ship. The first ship we ever went on was Mariner of the Seas, and this is very similar.
It's a sister ship. So in our mind, that was... Your first cruise is probably always going to be one of your favorites for most people, I think. So it has a special place in our heart.
It does. And I find this is a good size of ship. It's not a mega ship and it's not a small ship. So it's a good size. But let's start with the Lido deck, though, because we love the Lido deck.
Yeah, there's quite a bit on the Lido deck. So there's 2 main pools. We'll get over to the adult area in a moment, but there's 2 main pools. There's 2 larger hot tubs and 2 smaller hot tubs. There's the kids splash zone, like the splash away bay. There's a stage, the big screen for the movies. So there's quite a bit going on out there.
It's a busy place. There's a lot.
Now, let's start out with a wish right away. We were on the Navigator of the Seas a couple years ago.
Yes.
And I did like better how they had another set of hot tubs higher up on the side.
Like one deck up.
Yeah.
It was definitely an asset. And, you know, there's often a lot of families on cruises, a lot of people, so the extra hot tub space is good.
Yes. But overall, I mean, this ship is better for hot tub space than other ships we've been on. But I feel like, especially in the Caribbean, the more hot tubs, the better. People are always wanting to use them.
Unless it's crazy hot.
That's true. But we used them and it was quite hot on
It was. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. A fair amount of loungers. Again, it's always harder to get loungers right around the pool area unless you're out there in the morning. But if you include all the loungers at the front of the ship on deck 13, so if you go up a couple levels and around the front, there was a ton of loungers.
Lots of loungers, but then you don't get to watch what's happening at the pool.
But we could always get a chair.
Yeah, which is great too if you just want to lay in the sun and relax.
Yeah, you might not be next to the pool, but there was space. So. One thing that I noticed right away on the ship and at the sail away party, so there's kind of a tiered level that goes up kind of towards, I think, the front of the ship up to, I don't know what deck that would be, 12. That seemed a lot like it was empty.
Well, it was roped off.
So we noticed that there were signs that said, I believe it was for the Pinnacle and Concierge. I'm saying that totally wrong. Concierge suites. And they were minimally being used. And it was the prime real estate in that area.
Especially for the sail away party. It was sad when everyone's packed in trying to see or participate. And then you got this empty section. Yeah.
So I kind of wish they would have opened that up, at least during the parties to everyone to use. And maybe if it's just lounge time, they close it off for that. But for the party, they could have really have used that extra space. And it wasn't being used very much. So it seemed like it was a waste.
Also, in addition, the casitas up at deck level, they took up a lot of space too for watching. And when the weather wasn't perfect, it seemed like they weren't being used. But people would have enjoyed to people watch from that level. Yeah.
So, but overall, the pool area is beautiful. I really enjoyed it. The pools are really nice. It feels really modern.
Yes.
So, and then there's kind of a bit to the front, towards the front of the ship. You're also going to find the solarium adult area. So I always kind of get a chuckle because it's called the solarium, but the main part is outside.
That's true. Yeah.
But here they've got the solarium bar. They've got another pool and 2 really big hot tubs.
Really big,
Yeah.
significantly.
Yeah. So lots of loungers. It's a really nice area. It's, I would say, kind of a Mediterranean finish. Yeah. So really nice area if you're adult only. Do keep in mind though that kids do walk through the area to get from kind of the front of the ship to the main Lido area. So you're not totally secluded from kids. So if that's something you're looking for, do keep in mind there will be kids walking through the area.
Yeah, definitely. So let's jump up to deck 14, midship, but towards the aft a little bit. And there you will find the Viking Crown Lounge.
Yeah, it's beautiful up there. There's big windows overlooking the pool area.
It's air conditioned.
It's air conditioned.
So if it's really hot, but you still want to watch what's happening around the Lido, that's the place to go.
Yeah. So seating up there, comfy seating. Again, the views, as I'd mentioned. The Crow's Nest Bar is up there. Now, there's access to the chapel as well.
That's one deck higher.
Yeah, but it's up there. And then this is where you're also going to find access to the Suite Lounge as well as the Crown Lounge if you have access to those.
Yeah, it's a really nice area, and they do some activities up there. So
they do, yeah.
Check it out.
If it's hot or bad weather, I'd definitely go up there, or even just if you want a place to relax that might be a little bit quieter. Also at the back of the ship, so this would be deck 13. So this is where you're going to find a lot of the, I don't want to call them attractions, but I guess they kind of are.
Classic Royal Caribbean attractions.
So the Flow Rider, right at the back.
Yeah.
There's 2 large water slides back there. There's the rock climbing wall.
Yeah.
A big sports court.
Yes, which is very busy.
And the mini golf.
Which we always enjoy.
Yeah, so it's actually a 2-level mini golf course. So you start on the 13 and it goes down to 12.
Yeah, it's cute.
So it's a really nice area, especially if you have kids. They're gonna love that area. And a lot of that stuff is complimentary. So most of it, I think, is complimentary.
Yes.
They might have some paid for.
There were some paid things you could do on the Flow Rider, but then there was complimentary options as well.
Yeah. So it's a good option.
It's a fun space.
Yeah. So a really cool place, and I think a lot of people miss this, is kind of the bridge overlook area at the front of the ship. Not quite at the front, but pretty close to the front on deck 11. So you go out the side door. It's further towards the front than the solarium. You walk up the side. It's kind of outside of the gym. And there's some benches out there. It's kind of half inside, half outside. And you can watch the bridge where they drive the ship from.
It's kind of like there's a viewing windows that really let you peer into the life of what it looks like on the bridge.
There's some kind of stuff you can read about the ship and what the computers and things they're using are. It's really quite neat. So again, I would check that out. It's really cool because that's not something normal that you'd find on most ships. So
it's definitely something I like.
Yeah. But why don't we finish off like deck 11? There's still quite a bit on deck 11. You've got the Windjammer buffet area, as well as right beside that is Giovanni's Table. So that's the Italian specialty restaurant. So that's right by the Windjammer. Actually, I should mention that when the Windjammer got really busy, especially like an embarkation day, possibly other times, they would open up Giovanni's to go take your buffet food in there.
I noticed that in the mornings.
Yeah.
When it got overflowing to let some pressure off, I think, of the capacity.
Yeah. So Windjammer is nice and big. It's kind of a loop. The buffet goes down the sides, and then there's more buffet at the back with lots of seating. It's actually called something else back there, but it's essentially attached to the Windjammer.
It is, but that's where you'll find your hamburgers and your hot dogs and the chicken tenders.
Yeah.
Which I really liked.
Lots of beverage stations as well in there.
Yeah,
it's a really nice buffet, some good views. And then out on the side of the ship on deck 12, so one deck up, you'll find Johnny Rockets.
Yes. Now, this isn't a complimentary, though.
No, it's not. So if you want to do kind of the burger shake type of thing, that's up on deck 12 on the side. It's kind of...
It's old school.
Old school kind of retro feel in there. Back towards the front of the ship, though, you'll find the Vitality Gym, I believe it's called, or a fitness center.
Yes.
So, it has everything you need. I didn't use it.
No, I didn't either. It's always my plan to, but I didn't make it, if I'm honest.
But I don't want to call it a wish. It could be bigger. It's quite small.
It definitely could be.
So
yeah,
but it has all the basics, a lot of cardio stuff. It does have a free weight section and machines, but it's not the biggest of gyms we've seen.
It potentially could get really busy.
Yeah, but the equipment looked like it was well maintained.
Yes.
And decent quality equipment.
I would agree.
But right above that is the Vitality Spa. So it's right in that area. So now let's jump down from there. So I mean, there's more up on those upper decks, but jumping down. So if you go all the way down to deck 8, you're going to find some computers, and there's a little workspace there. I think it's called the Royal Caribbean Online.
Okay.
So there's a bunch of computers. I noticed a lot of ships don't have computers that you can pay to use anymore.
I'm actually surprised they still have it.
Yeah, it's kind of hidden, kind of amongst the cabins. And then there's a little opening in the middle that you can look down into the library. So you do have to go down the stairs. You can't go down the middle. So there is the library on deck 7. And this is a quiet seating area as well.
And I still appreciate that they have the library, because a lot of newer ships don't have libraries anymore.
No, but I will say there was not a lot of books in it.
No.
So we've been on other ships from other lines, and their libraries are huge. There was only a few books and a couple of games in there.
What I liked, though, was that there was some seating there, and it was pretty close to the stairs and elevator.
Yeah.
So it's actually a great spot if you want to meet up with a group of friends.
Maybe even play a game in there, because there were a few games. Actually, most of the games were over in the card room. We'll get to that in a minute, but there were a few games in there as well. Continuing down, why don't we jump to the front of the ship?
Okay.
Because this is one of my favorite spots on the ship.
Mine too.
Yeah. So the Lyric Theater.
Yeah.
The front of the ship on decks 3 and 4. In my mind, this is what a theater should be like on a cruise ship.
Yeah. Beautiful open sightlines.
It's big. It's a classic theater. It's 2 stories. There are a few posts, but for the most part, there's enough seating, so it's not really an issue.
And like you said, enough seating.
For sure, enough seating. Like, because it's quite big. They have an orchestra. It's kind of a traditional stage where they can lift up out of the stage, or they can be in the background. Really beautiful theater.
With real theater seats too. Like, I just think it's great.
Yeah. So that's gorgeous. The other thing, and this is one of my favorite things about Royal Caribbean, is the promenades.
Yeah.
I do like that kind of mall feeling through the middle. So this one is the Royal Promenade. It's on deck 5.
It gives you that space to stroll.
Yes.
Especially if you just want to like walk back a little forth. The weather could be bad.
Yeah. It's kind of, like I said, a shopping mall vibe, but if the weather's bad, you can stroll through there, or it's kind of windy outside. So you're going to find different stores here. There's restaurants, the Cafe Promenade. So one of the other complimentary dining options. You can get snacks and pizza there. And then I think this is really cool. They have a bridge that kind of goes over the middle of it. And in that Royal Promenade is where they host a lot of the parties.
Yeah, it's more of a stage that looks like a bridge.
But it's right in the middle.
Yeah, and it makes great viewing from no matter what part of the ship you're on after the forward part.
Well, okay. But one of my favorite
Yeah.
hacks for those parties, if you don't want to actually be down in the action.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the promenade, there's little balconies that they fill up right away. So we could go a little early.
They're right by the elevators.
Yeah, so I would say probably deck
the
6,
side elevators.
7, and 8, maybe something like that. And you go out on those, and you can, if you're a people watcher, that's a good place to stand and enjoy the parties.
Also
or
at the end, then too, people stand along the rail going up.
Yeah.
Looking, it's quite a good spot if you don't want to be on the floor with everyone.
Yeah. So really, really neat, the Royal Promenade. Again, there are different venues. I shouldn't say venues, restaurants and shops there. So Cafe Promenade, there's the main pub in there, I think would be the Duck and Dog pub. It's kind of that darker, kind of oaky look in there.
Classic casino. Not casino, pub.
Pub. There's the Azumi's Japanese restaurant is right in the Royal Promenade. And then some different shops. So like a fashion boutique, gifts and jewelry. They kind of have, they might not necessarily sell what you think they sell. So, for example, the general store is mostly alcohol and cigarettes.
Now, was that where you could get your, like, if you forgot a toothbrush and toothpaste?
They did have snacks in there.
Yeah.
So any toiletries you might need, or if you want chips and candy, it's in there.
Yeah.
But if you're just walking by, you might think it's all alcohol.
Yeah.
So
if you forgot something or you need something, check in there. They may have it.
So there's also like a perfume and cosmetics store. So, I mean, everybody knows there's a lot of shopping on cruise ships. So
plus they do a lot of activities in these stores. There's a lot of raffles and different events. So
and draws and things.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff going on in them.
And the other thing, and this is a real alike to me, is the logo wear store is big.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do appreciate that. We don't buy a lot of logo wear, but I do like bringing home Royal Caribbean towels or just souvenirs like that. So I appreciate when they have more to choose from.
It's also like a good store if you're coming through with kids. Because there's lower priced items for children to shop for.
Well, and they did have toys for kids as well.
Yeah.
So
which is good.
Just like stuffies and Lego type stuff, and
which I thought it was a great idea to put Lego on a cruise ship.
Yeah, it was definitely really nice. Now there's also on deck 5 at the front, you're gonna find. So I think I'd already mentioned there's the card room. So this is right outside the Imperial Lounge, which is actually a really good sized lounge.
It is, and it's easy to miss it because it's above the theater.
Yeah.
But it's large.
I will say, though, that even though it was larger than other ships that we've been on, it did get full where you couldn't find a spot at times.
Yes, so, especially for karaoke.
So come early for those events. A lot of the events were back-to-back, so people would go to the event before just to get a seat for the second event. So do keep that in mind. But they had different things. There are karaoke, dance lessons, stuff like that. And then the card room was right outside that. So that had more seating, games, that sort of thing. So I really appreciate that that's there.
Yeah, and actually from that lounge, though, you can access the outside, too. It's not super obvious, but there are some side doors if you want to step outside.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we'll get to that, I think, in a second.
Yeah.
The other thing, so deck 3, kind of midship, but you access it more towards the back by the main dining room, is the Studio B.
Oh,
the ice skating rink.
That's really good.
That's one of their show they do in there, and we've seen it on multiple ships now, like a variation of different shows. But it's a really cool show, the ice skating show. Yeah,
and there's, again, lots of seating on 3 sides of the ice rink.
Yeah.
My recommendation is go early and sit on the front row.
Yeah.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, that way, when you're sitting there and they ice skate, they come right up close. You can feel the breeze. It's fun.
Yeah. And they do open it as well for public skating as well.
Yeah.
So, and that was complimentary. So that's really nice. There's quite a few bars. We already mentioned the Duck and Dog pub. You've got the Schooner Bar.
Yeah.
Which is kind of that nautical vibe. They do host other things there, often like trivia or
napkin
folding, dollar bill folding, that kind of thing. Bolero's is on deck 4, another bar. The Solarium Bar.
There's lots of bars.
There's lots of bars,
Yeah.
Champagne Bar and more. So there's quite a bit around the ship. The beautiful restaurant. So not only, I know, and how would I say this? We already said we love the theater, but I think I love the dining room more.
There's
it's so classic.
Specific things that I love about this ship. So the theater and the dining room. I'll make you wait for the third. But it is beautiful.
Okay. What's the third?
You want me to tell you now?
Yeah.
It's where you go up by the helipad.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get there. So the main dining room on decks 3, 4, and 5. It's beautiful, classic with the big chandelier. It's gorgeous.
Lots of windows, so lots of natural light. If you want a view of the ocean, it's classic, truly classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now you can talk about your third thing you love.
it's not every day you get to walk to the front of the ship.
To the helipad.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 And when you get to walk right out there, you can see the fish jumping out of the water. You see the birds. I've seen birds swoop down and catch fish.
Yeah.
You feel the breeze.
So it's kind of unique. You actually go outside on deck 4, and I really appreciate you can walk all the way around. But to walk all the way around at the front, you walk up the stairs to deck 5. So it's kind of, you have to walk up and down.
And that's where you could access through the Imperial Lounge on the side door.
At times. Yeah. So, but that you can go right up on the helipad. They've got benches up there. You can go right up to the front, do your King of the World impression. It's gorgeous out there.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I like that.
It.
I like that too. Other than that, there's the casinos right below the Royal Promenade on deck 4. It's quite a large casino. One wish I have, though, is there isn't really a main walkway through it.
Yeah, it's tight, especially when people are gambling there and they've got friends hanging around. I felt like I was kind of squeezing my way through.
Yeah. So big but tight to get through. I wish there was just a little bit more of a dedicated walkway because it is one of the main paths through the ship. So, but it's nice and big if you're wanting to use it.
So it's a small wish.
But overall, I mean, we really enjoy this class of ship, and the layout and amenities they provide on it are really good. There's a few small wishes, but overall, we're really happy with it. Yes.
So let's dive into our Oceanview cabin, cabin 2558. It was at the front, on the left or port side if you want to talk nautical talk.
It's taken me a long time to know that left is port.
Yep.
They
both have 4 letters. Left, port. You don't want to be left in port. That's what I always say to you. You don't want to be left in port.
Anyway, the one I'm gonna, before we step into the cabin, so again 2558, there wasn't a lot of people walking past this cabin because it was kind of a dead end hallway.
You can't walk all the way down the side on deck 2. So you only get people from your section down there. So that makes it quieter.
For sure. You're not getting people just using it to transport back and forth across the ship. But so this was a Oceanview, as we mentioned, has a big round window in it.
Which I loved.
Like one big window, not portholes, so it was quite big.
And fairly low. So when you're standing in your cabin, you can see the waves.
So
not coming over the window. No. But you can see the water easily.
But so our bed, we had it set up as a king instead of 2 twins, and our head was right at the window.
Yes.
So it doesn't, I don't want to call this a wish, but be aware that if you like to lean up in bed, there isn't a wall to lean against.
There's no headrest.
There's no headrest, yeah. So, but I really enjoyed laying in bed and just staring out the window. It was really nice. Your head's like right by the window.
Well, it's fun to sit there and I don't know. It was. I loved the space.
Yeah.
Really did.
So the cabin itself, there was lots of light. I was pleasantly surprised with how much light there was. So there was not only ceiling lights, but reading lights on both sides of the bed and sconces, as well as in the vanity mirror. So lots of light. And there was, of course, a main light switch by the bed, which was nice as well. Yeah. So you don't have to get up and traipse across the room to turn out the lights. I think that's mostly standard. You'll find that, but that's nice when it is there. And lots of cupboards and drawers.
Yes. Not as much hanging cupboards, though. Usually I find there's 2, like 3 sections to open long stuff.
It was 2 sections. So it was decently big, and then it had kind of shelves off on one side.
Yes, yeah.
But I would say there was lots of drawers more in the vanity desk area. So I think we'll get back to that more in a minute. There is a TV.
A smaller TV.
A smaller TV. So it does swing out. I would say it's probably on the smaller side. So that might be a wish. It's 27, maybe 32 inch, somewhere in that range. A wish is it's quite low. It's like down by your feet.
So you're always, The problem is someone's feet or knees, if you sit up in bed, are always blocking the view. So it's okay.
Yeah. So our room, though, had an adjoining door.
Which changes some things,
Yeah,
right? So because there's an adjoining door, you have to be able to get through that door. So there's not a couch. There's an extra chair, an armchair in there.
Yeah, so a single chair. So there's one single chair and then kind of at the vanity, I don't know, was it a stool? I guess, a stool there. Yeah. And then there's a full mirror, so right by the washroom.
Yes, on the outside.
So there's that. Suitcases did fit under the bed,
which is handy because it doesn't. Handy. Then your suitcases are not taking up a space in your closet.
Yeah, and then of course it had a safe and then a cooler fridge. So I don't know if it's a full fridge. It just keeps your stuff.
I believe it's a cooler. So if you need stuff cold, make sure you talk to them.
So I do have a bit of a wish. So the look of the cabinetry, it was like a aged birch. That's not really my wish. I'm okay with the look of it. But the drawers were very well worn out.
Rough. They didn't glide very well, so it's kind of like...
They creak when you'd push them in, or the rails were broken.
Yeah.
It was...
They're worn.
They are well worn. The side... But one thing I did like about the furnishings, I guess, there was drawers in the side table.
Oh, the nightstand.
Nightstands.
I do like that. That's really helpful if you... Like, I like to put my earbuds and stuff away. I don't want them just sitting on top because it's too easy to knock them away.
Well, I'm not really worried about them getting stolen. It's more, it could easily fall in the bed and get scooped up with dirty linens or whatever.
Or just lost under the bed.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have drawers that close things away.
As for the bed itself, did you find it comfy?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I found it comfy. The pillows and blankets were comfy.
I did notice, though, and I don't know if you noticed this, the first few nights, it felt like our bed was separating, though, and coming apart. And then I noticed...
Between them.
Yeah, and then I noticed and I had looked at our mattress, and they were, each one had a mattress pad on it separate. Okay. And I noticed halfway through the cruise, they changed that, and they put one mattress pad over both, and I felt like the bed stayed together better.
It's possible, though, I don't know if they clipped together, but it's possible
I don't know.
Forgot to clip them together.
I didn't check too closely.
The mattress itself, I will say they're a little bit firmer of a mattress. Yeah. My back didn't hurt, though, sleeping in it. I've had other ships where my back is like, that's a little sore, but this one was fine. Metal walls.
So if you bring magnets, ceiling, they work?
Yeah, so... which is nice. We always bring them for extra hats and bags and shirts. And, some of those days where you might get quite wet swimming and a few extra things that are wet, it's nice to be able to hang them up.
Yeah, I wouldn't put dripping wet, though.
No, but
you could use them in the bathroom still.
Damp type stuff. Yeah. So that's nice. Now, this is important to me, though. Okay. Plugs.
We always got stuff to charge.
We have a lot of stuff to charge on our trips. So... there was one EU plug, and then two 120 plugs. So we bring in an adapter to give us a USB-C and a USB-A out of the European plug. And then it had two North American plugs. Plus it had a USB on the TV, which I probably should have checked if you could charge off of it, but there was one there. But we didn't see any plugs by the bed.
No, I don't believe there was because that was an outer wall.
Unless there was something hidden, but we didn't see any that were obvious anyway. So do keep that in mind. So it is nice if you bring an adapter, you can get extra.
They're helpful, definitely, especially if you've got multiple phones or you're charging different battery stuff. Yeah,
I'll maybe put our favorite ones down in the description, so you can use the European plug to charge your phones, that sort of thing. The washroom, I was pleasantly surprised.
Because there's no shower curtain?
Yes.
You always like that. Yeah.
So very standard washroom, though. It wasn't the biggest shower. It was quite small, but it did have like a glass or acrylic door.
Not a lot for the shampoo, conditioner, body wash.
No, this would be a wish for me.
Yeah.
So it's like an all-in-one. There's no conditioner.
Yeah.
So I really wish there was separate.
That's a lot of extra weight when you're traveling. And especially when you're out at sea.
Yeah.
Probably not an issue for you, but for me, my hair gets tangly and I need conditioner. So,
well, I do prefer it.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wish it wasn't all in.
But we came prepared.
Yeah, we did, but
it's good to know.
It's good to know. I guess a couple other things about the shower. There is a clothesline in there for hanging your wet clothes. The head was adjustable, and
for the height of the shower.
For the height of the shower head.
Yeah.
And there is behind the glass for the vanity, or by the sink.
Mirror. Yeah.
There it opens up.
Extra
it would be
storage.
really easy to miss.
And easy to forget your things in it.
That's true.
Definitely easy.
That's true.
Yeah.
So other than that, I guess there's a couple other things. So hair dryer.
Yeah.
You can speak to that.
Okay, this is your classic hotel hair dryer. It's not very powerful. For me, it's fine, but if you've got thick hair, you might want to bring your own.
Yeah. The AC kept our room cool, which is nice. So it did a good job. I had someone actually ask me why we requested a fan. So we went to guest services when we got on and requested a fan. That was for noise, not for temperature.
And I sleep with a fan at home, but I also find I'm less likely to notice sounds in the hall or from the cabins beside us.
Yeah. I think that'll get into a wish in a moment. So we'll get into that. The fan was big though.
Massive.
We were surprised.
Yeah.
Blackout curtains, which is nice.
Yeah.
So if you're worried about the light, it got pretty dark in there. So, and then there was shears as well. So like if you wanted to let some of the light in. So there are a few wishes though.
Yeah.
Well, we already talked about the state of the cabinets being kind of rough. But so we're kind of right above the gangway. Actually, not right above, but one level up from staff areas, and the gangway is kind of off to the side. So when we would get to port in the mornings, you could definitely hear clanging and them kind of getting ready with some metal stuff. I am assuming it was gangway type related.
But it was quiet overnight. I didn't notice the banging, but I definitely, when we were coming into port, it was noisy. Yeah.
Because other ships we've been on, we've heard noises overnight. It was quiet overnight, but just as
I would take this.
For sure.
Not in the middle of the night noise.
And then the adjoining door. So we did not pick our cabin.
No, and you know what? We know that. We did a guaranteed ocean view. And I don't love the connecting doors if you don't need it. Definitely noise transferred.
Yeah.
From, like, I could hear the people in the room next to us talking, even when they were talking quietly.
Yeah.
As well as if our lights were off and their lights were on, I could see the light from around the door coming.
Not very much, but a little bit. And even the main door, I guess...
Little maintenance thing.
A little maintenance thing. You could tell something was crooked, and there was a fair bit of light coming through kind of around the door. You could see when the lights were out, you could see the light, and it was kind of crooked in there, which was fine, but I mean, the ship is not brand new.
No, that's true.
So you kind of expect some stuff like that, but I think the biggest wish would have been the cabinetry.
Yeah.
How worn out that is. But overall, we enjoyed the cabin. I really enjoyed the ocean view.
I love the ocean view.
Yeah.
And sometimes I wonder if it's worth being down the ocean view and being away from the Lido deck. But for me, it absolutely was. I loved looking out the window.
Yeah. And it was close to the elevators as well. So.
And easy to get on and off the ship.
Yep. Actually, that's a big perk. When you come back from port, we just walk up a flight of stairs to our cabin.
And so we didn't have to wait in the rush of elevators.
Yeah.
It made it easy.
Yeah. So overall, it was fine experience, a good experience. But yeah, those are our thoughts on our cabin, our Oceanview cabin on the adventure of the seas. So if you're enjoying this video or getting some value, if you could go ahead and hit that subscribe button, it would really help us out in growing this channel so we can bring you more cruising content like you're watching right now. Is that right, Lacey?
She agrees.
She agrees. So the free food and restaurants on the Adventure of the Sea. So this is the food that was included with our cruise fare that you didn't pay any additional cost to eat. So I really enjoyed the food on the ship.
I did too. And isn't that a great perk about cruising, though, is generally really good food and lots of it.
So let's start in the main dining room. So the main dining room, again, that beautiful 3-story dining room, is the Sapphire restaurant on decks 3, 4, and 5.
And it is beautiful. It is stunning. It is classic. I love the space.
It's very traditional cruising.
I kind of feel like I'm in a Disney movie when I walk in. It just has this, like, I don't know. it's
well, they've
beautiful.
still got the tablecloths.
Yeah, yeah.
And they still assume you want a menu.
Mm-hmm.
And they bring you the menu. There's no QR code. So I appreciate that.
Yes.
And it's just a traditional style.
And if you do want to look at the menu on your phone,
you still can.
You still can. So you're not pressured into going digital.
No.
But it's flexible that way.
It is.
It's really good.
So we went there for breakfast a few times. We went there for lunch, I think twice. And then we went there for dinner, I think every day. Mm-hmm. So breakfast, there's some really good food there.
There is, yeah.
It seems quieter than going to the buffet, and we would commonly get seats by the window, which is nice. So lots to offer. So they start out with a variety of pastries if you want, danishes, that sort of thing, croissants.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff there. One of our favorites, we always enjoy the yogurt parfaits.
It's good, yeah.
They're good. I had the omelet, so you could order it with a few different toppings, and they would make it up for you. Of course, you could get your bacon, egg, sausage, hash browns, that sort of thing. So,
well, I usually like to have the eggs Benedict once or twice.
Yeah.
Which they did a great job. The eggs were cooked properly. The yolks were still runny.
You often also like to get the French toast.
I do. So I think I only tried it one time. It was good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had something like a breakfast burrito, which was good there.
It looked like a good size,
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
The other thing I do want to mention is you can still get complimentary juice there. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the flavors were, but for sure orange juice and coffees, teas, that sort of thing were complimentary. And I think did I mention the pastries? Yes, I did.
You did.
Yeah. So there's quite a bit there. There's a whole lot more than that, but that would be kind of the main things there. At lunch, we went there twice, I believe.
Yeah.
So there, you can get like salads and different things for lunch, and they even have desserts at lunch. But our main things, I had chicken and waffles.
Which is an interesting combination.
I enjoy that.
I did pasta once, but I also did quesadillas.
Okay,
Because I really wanted the avocado.
Yeah.
I love guacamole.
Yeah. And I also had the chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
There. So it's definitely... I enjoy going there for lunch. It's a little bit slower
I find
than
it more
going to the buffet.
more relaxing, because you don't need to look for a seat. They seat you, they bring the food to you, they bring the beverages to you.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a slower, more relaxing, it's very nice.
So dinner in the Sapphire, we had a great experience.
We did, and I found the service was really well paced. Now, we were just the table with the two of us, and our meal, from the time we sat down till when we finished, was around an hour each night.
Yeah, maybe a little over an hour and 15 minutes. Had we wanted to get through quicker, I'm sure they would have accommodated us because they were just really good that way. And the times we stayed longer chatting with people, it wasn't an issue.
No, we didn't feel rushed. But it wasn't, sometimes you've been at a restaurant and you wait forever and ever and ever for your food to come. I didn't feel that at all.
No, it was
Well
really
timed.
good, and the service was excellent. So there's quite a bit there. So some of the appies, there's different salads, the iceberg wedge salad, which I enjoy.
Do they have Caesar salad, honey?
Of course they have Caesar salad. Calamari.
Yes,
Always
which I like to
enjoyable.
try it once on every cruise.
I had something I really enjoyed. It was the Asian style, I think, bao tacos.
You know what? I had this on another Royal Caribbean cruise, and I couldn't get it out of my mind because it's not really like a taco.
No. It's almost more, I don't even want to call
bun.
a steamed bun with,
Bunned bun, yeah.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
Some of the classics though, escargot, crab cakes, chips and artichoke dip.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
so
good. Yeah, rich.
so there's a lot there. So going back to the escargot, that's kind of the classic though. Yep.
Some things are on the menu every night, but a big chunk of it changes every night.
Yeah. Some of the main dishes we had, I'll just whip through these. So I really enjoyed the southern fried chicken with the Tabasco sauce. It was really good.
In a honey, so it's sweet.
Yeah, we both had that actually.
Yeah, when it wasn't too hot. I don't like spicy, so.
The autumn turkey dinner,
which is great.
Which was good. We both had that. Roast tenderloin, beef tenderloin. I remember you saying that you could cut it with a fork.
Yeah, you didn't need a knife. It just like the meat just fell apart. It was absolutely delicious. I wish it was for dinner tonight.
There's a steak every night that's typically there every night, just like the Caesar salad.
Yeah.
A New York strip steak, I believe it was. So that might change slightly, but there was a steak every night. Beef short ribs, those are so good.
Oh, yeah. Another favorite of mine. Absolutely.
Lasagna was on there. Now, of course, it changes from day to day, but a lot of people ask, though, is there a complimentary lobster? So on our 8-night cruise, on the second formal night, we had complimentary lobster.
We did.
So
we also, though, had something else with it.
Well, we ordered it with the daily steak, so they kind of made a surf and turf for us.
Yeah.
So that was all complimentary. So it was a steak and the lobster tail. It was really good.
And what I liked about that, too, is they also added the sides from the steak. Because I preferred that over the lobster side. It's a little side little thing there, but yeah. So
tons of desserts as well that you could order. I think I wrote down actually 4 that are my favorite.
Yeah.
The key lime pie.
And you want to order that key lime pie if you're interested, because it's not available every night.
No, I think I only saw it once on our cruise. So the key lime pie, caramel brulee. Creme brulee, not caramel brulee.
Oh, caramel creme brulee would be good.
Yeah, so creme brulee, I love that kind of hard topping on it. The carrot cake, I don't know if that's on your favorite list.
No, it's not, but you're welcome to have different favorites.
And the baked Alaska, that's always a go-to for me as well.
That's traditional.
So, yeah. So I do want to mention, though, we had My Time dining.
Yes, and we had selected some reservations before our cruise, but we were a little stressed because My Time dining doesn't technically start till 6:45. But when we went to make reservations, all those times were gone. And it was like 8 o'clock, 8:30.
It was quite late.
Later than we'd like to eat. We do like to eat earlier. But we talked to the maitre d'. So this is our tip to you. If you're feeling stressed or you don't get what you were hoping for, go talk to the maitre d'.
Well, they will do their best to accommodate you. Yeah. For sure. So they actually offered us, even though we were My Time dining, they offered us 6:30 or before My Time dining every night at the same table if we could commit to it. And that worked out well.
Yeah, and this was not the early or late dinner time. So it was kind of in the middle.
We can't promise that, but go talk to them because they're very accommodating.
They are.
So, all right. From there, let's jump up to the Windjammer.
Where there's even more food.
So it's a large loop with lots of windows around the perimeter. And then the kind of buffet area is sort of in the middle as you go around. So it was fairly busy on embarkation day.
And some sea days.
So do keep that in mind. I mean, it's common for buffets to be busy. It wasn't as busy as we've seen on some other ships, but it was definitely steady.
Like after the belly flop competition, it was packed. It's like the whole Lido deck emptied at once into that buffet.
So there are several beverage stations. So the nice thing is, I really like this, that they actually serve up most of the drinks or have a whole bunch of them prepared. So during most of the day, it's lemonade, iced tea, and water. They have coffee, tea, decaf, that sort of thing. In the mornings, they typically have orange juice and apple juice on top of that. So, and there's quite a few of those stations.
Plus the flavored strawberry water. Was that up there? Or was that only in the promenade?
I don't recall if it was up there. I remember it in the Cafe Promenade for sure. So, not complimentary though. They do have Coke Freestyle machines there, but they did have, I think, 2 of them in the buffet area. Lots of different options. So one fun thing they did at night for dinner and into the evening. So we would actually go after dinner.
Are you going to admit this?
Well, no, but I'll tell you anyway. If you went to the back buffet area, so it's called the Island Grill.
Yes, and it's usually where the hamburgers and the hot dogs are, and it's across from the dessert.
Really, it's a continuation of the Windjammer, so I don't remember anyone even calling it the Island Grill on there, but it's in the Windjammer, so just
Go there.
go there. They had an area where they made fresh kind of, I don't want to call them desserts, but treats at night. So the one night they did donuts with different toppings. They had crepes and churros.
The churros, and they had like, was it caramel different sauces
Different
you could put on it?
Yeah.
And toppings. It's really, if you like that kind of thing, go check it out. Because
Yeah.
it's not the same every night.
No, for sure. Of course, they've got the carving station in there. So roast beef, they had chicken. I believe there was maybe ribs one night, if I'm not mistaken, like a pork loin, different things like that.
Yeah.
A variety of different salads. So pre-made salads, as well as make your own salad, of course. Meats, cheeses, breads, all that kind of stuff. So
There's a lot of options.
plus the burgers and hot dogs. So I know we were talking about this as a wish, though. The burgers and hot dogs, which is something you would typically want to grab midday when you're around the pool, are all the way at the back of the buffet.
And there's no food around the Lido pool. So if you want to go just get a quick hot dog for your kids or a hamburger, actually there is ice cream.
There is.
The ice cream. But there's no like sandwiches or burgers conveniently by the pool. You got to go all the way to the very back.
Yeah. So do keep that in mind. So I do wish that the burgers were just somehow closer.
Or another burger stand.
Yeah. I think we'll get to a little bit more of that in a moment. So, well, why don't we get into that right now, and then
let's talk about it.
we'll work backwards and go back to the Cafe Promenade. So, on the Navigator, they had something called El Loco Fresh, which was the Mexican complimentary dining by the pool, and this ship really misses that.
Absolutely does. And I really love Mexican food, especially for lunch.
Yeah.
And that also helps alleviate a lot of the pressure in the buffet at lunchtime.
Because I think there was one day where they had like taco chips. You can make your own nachos, but if I remember, I only saw it once.
And I like nachos all the time.
So I just think another complimentary restaurant towards the pool area, whether it's burgers or El Loco Fresh, would be perfect. Because that was really good.
Would be.
By the pool. That would be a nice addition. So, another wish, though?
Yeah?
Ice cream.
Yeah, it closes so early. It closes...
Well, there's only one.
Yeah.
So it was always really runny and melty.
So keep in mind, it's really warm out, super humid, and one machine is making ice cream for everybody on the Lido deck. So by the time you wait in line, your ice cream just falls apart in your hand really quickly. But the timing, though, and it's only open for certain hours. It closes at 6:30. Sometimes I want soft serve ice cream at 10.
Yeah. So not horrible, but
it's a wish.
It is a wish. The other wish I have, and I think this is more of a Royal Caribbean thing, is they closed down the Windjammer fully, so you can't even sit in there when the buffet is closed. And it's a lot of space that people on other cruise lines like to use to play games or drink coffee and just chat with their friends. And I wish it was just open all the time, even if the buffet's closed, but that you could come sit in there. Just rope off the buffet part and let people sit in there.
Especially if you have bad weather, it's nice to sit and have a coffee and look out the windows because it has beautiful views.
So, like, you eat a lot on a cruise, so but the only thing open from about 3 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon is the Cafe Promenade.
I know, it's rough 2 hours.
It's a rough 2 hours. I just wish... I can think that goes more back to El Loco Fresh, but like it's shut down. You can't even go sit in there. Yeah. So I just wish that was open more.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about the Cafe Promenade. So back down in the Royal Promenade.
Yes.
Complimentary dining options. So they had more like sandwiches, some desserts, wraps, fruit, as well as complimentary pizza.
And I appreciate that this is available on a lower level on the ship. So you don't have to go all the way back up to the Lido. You can enjoy it on that level.
And I also appreciate that you can get coffees and teas there.
Yes.
And you don't have to go back up. And that you can get water. I think you mentioned the strawberry flavored water. Iced tea lemonade, I can't remember. I think they had one of them at times, or both, potentially. But that you can get the complimentary beverages
and
there.
I felt like the lines moved pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
They were really quick at getting food out. There's cookies, too.
Yeah.
Don't forget the cookies.
Cafe Promenade's nice, so I appreciate that. So, overall, though, our dining experience with the complimentary or included dining was good. The food tasted good. I didn't have any complaints about.
The service was amazing.
Yeah, that. So, we just had a great time, other than those few wishes. So, Andrea, the entertainment and activities on the Adventure of the Seas.
I was really happy with the entertainment that we had on this ship.
I was pleasantly surprised with the quality of the entertainment.
Especially with the guests that were not always their regular... What do you call it? Like when the special guests. Yeah. I just felt like they were such top-level entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we should talk about that.
Well, for sure. So let's... the first night, welcome aboard show.
Yes.
Those are typically a sampler of kind of what's going to happen throughout the week. So I enjoy going to them. You kind of meet the cruise director. You not necessarily personally, but who they are. And
you can identify the cruise director then. They'll
commonly have maybe one of the guest people sing on there or the on-ship kind of, I don't know what you'd call them. Like singers and dancers do a couple of things, some games, that sort of thing. So I do enjoy the welcome aboard show.
Plus, you find out about some of the other events going on in the week.
Yeah.
And so you kind of get a feeling if this is something you might be interested in checking out.
Yeah. Yeah. So before we get to some of the guest things that were on it, let's go through the main ones that are probably on there every week. So Cool Art Hot Ice in Studio B.
This is the ice skating show.
Yeah.
It is so much more than ice skating, though.
It's phenomenal. Like, these are top-notch figure skaters.
And
they're really good. We've
seen other ice shows on Royal Caribbean, and I don't think any three have been the same.
I don't think so either. They've been... I don't remember them being the same as this one. And they've all been really good. But this one was... Like, again, really good. All the spins and axles and
the costumes were creative and different and unique.
The one move they do, like, I know you were cringing.
It's
one gal's head is really close to the ice when she's spinning around. So, costumes. The one guy, he does some figure skating, but with a mannequin.
It's like a puppet.
So it looks like it's two of them, but it's not. It's just really neat.
It's much better than just an ice skating show. It was really good.
So there also were two kind of signature shows. So there was one called Invitation to Dance.
This is with their in-house production?
Yeah, so with the band and their in-house production. And the other one's Can't Stop the Rock.
Yes.
So both really good shows, singing, dancing, kind of traditional... I don't want to call them Broadway type shows, but the traditional singing and dancing, and they were really good. I appreciate that it wasn't just singing or just dancing, and that they had the orchestra, because we've been in some where it's just singing to canned music, and somewhere it's just dancing to canned music, and I appreciate that they bring it all together.
And even with the stage, they have the stage going up, and a lot of people on stage.
Yeah.
A lot of dancers, a lot of people singing, a big orchestra. I sometimes was going, how many people are up there? So I really appreciated.
Yeah, there was a lot of people.
I like that a lot.
The Love and Marriage game show was one of the nights as well.
Yes.
So that's a classic on there. They bring up some newlyweds and some people who've been
married a long
time and ask questions. It can be fun. You never know. You're never sure what you're going to get. We'll put it that way. And then there was some really good guests on this one. So we had a comedy magician. That's more my thing than your thing.
Yeah.
We had Revoiced.
Phenomenal.
Truly so kind of like beatboxers, a group. They were really good. And then we had a guest singer, Laura Wright.
Yes, who performs in Vegas.
Who performs in Vegas and was actually married. Was she married to the
magician?
To the comedy magician.
Yes,
so
yeah.
They were on there together. So lots of great shows, and there's always something happening pretty much every night. So I do have a wish though. There's one more show.
What's that?
The goodbye show or the last night show.
Yes.
So we didn't mention this one. This is the last show kind of where they bring in staff and honor them. Mm-hmm. And they only do it once, and it was at 7:00.
And often the big shows of the night, there's an early one and a late one. Mm-hmm. So they can accommodate everyone.
So I guess my wish would be that they would push this to later.
Yeah.
So that those who are already eating can do both. Because our dinner was at 6:30. We ate really quick and then just showed up for the end of it.
We caught the end of it.
So anyone who's doing an earlier dining is going to miss it. Yeah. So I just wish they'd push it off to later in the evening, or not necessarily have to do two of them, but it's just, I wish.
Sometimes we've seen this on other cruise lines where they actually do this midday too, so that you can accommodate everyone better. Because if you enjoy getting to see variety of staff coming forward and a chance to give your thanks.
Yeah.
If you like doing that, it's fun and special.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but overall, like the performances were really good. There was also a bunch of parties.
Yeah.
So of course the sail away party, which is they get everyone dancing, and for us though, sail away was a little cooler.
It was actually quite cold.
It was like around 60 degrees Fahrenheit or 16 degrees Celsius, something like that.
And windy.
So I feel like it could have been busier. Mm-hmm. But it was still a lot of fun. It's beautiful sailing. We were sailing at Port Canaveral. It was beautiful. Now, a couple other parties they had. So they had the greatest 80s party ever.
Now, I will say though, not a lot of people dressed up for this on our sailing.
No, but
some did.
For sure. But it was quite busy.
It was.
That one was probably the busiest of the parties. There was the conga line going through there. Now, whether was the staff that started the conga line or not, I'm not sure. But people were really getting into that one.
Yeah.
So, and that's in the Royal Promenade. And we enjoy standing up in those balconies watching and people watching. And so there was that party. They also had the 70s Disco Inferno dance party.
Yeah.
Inferno.
Yeah.
So all the classic songs, YMCA.
They gave you a little dance lesson so you can dance along. Mm-hmm. And they were throwing out those rings that like blink like crazy.
Yeah. So this one, and I don't know if I should call this a party or not. The Island Frenzy Parade. I haven't seen this before.
I'm wondering if we just missed it because it happened during the day.
It was right during the day before we got into San Juan. Mm-hmm. So it was fun there. It was like a parade in the Royal Promenade with, I don't know what you'd call them, people wearing costumes and just enjoyable music and dancing. And really, if you're on there, if you see it, because it wasn't heavily advertised either.
No, and I think it's something especially children would love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, other than that, they did the veterans ceremony.
Which was very well attended.
Yes.
And a lot of effort was put into it. Mm-hmm. I was impressed.
I was too, though. One of the main production singers sang the national anthem, and they honored the different heroes. So it went through the different military divisions and then first responders and just honored everybody. So it was a really neat ceremony to attend. So I really enjoyed that. So other than that, there was just a lot of stuff to keep you busy though. So Captain's Corner.
Right when you can ask the captain questions.
Yeah. So there's that. Belly flop contest, which is always fun.
Looks painful. Looks really painful.
The sexiest man competition.
Which can be a little wild.
You never know what you're going to get.
No.
Karaoke, which was really busy during our sailing.
Super busy. I think busier than normal because it just may have also had a convention with Elvis fans on it.
Elvis fan convention. So there's a lot of singing. Bingo, trivia. There's always singers in the promenade, that sort of thing. Other things, napkin folding, and we did dollar bill folding, which was fun.
That was a new one for us.
Yeah, that's the first time we've done that. Yeah. So dancing lessons as well.
Which you and I have yet to do together.
You've done dancing lessons.
Yes.
I haven't.
Next time you're coming out on the floor with me.
And if you're young at heart, there's a lot around the ship as well. Of course, the flow rider, the sports courts. I do want to say they were quite large. Mm-hmm. So they had pickleball, of course, they had basketball, all that kind of stuff.
And if you look in the schedule, you can see when they're doing each activity.
Yeah. The complimentary mini golf, so it's a 2-story one. There's actually like this thing, your ball goes down and goes to the lower level. I don't know what happened. My ball must have been bigger somehow, so it got stuck. But whatever.
So yeah, I had to putt another ball in to get it to come down.
I was whacking it with the mallet. Anyway, that is a fun little course.
Yeah.
The water slides, 2 pretty big water slides out there. Of course, the hot tubs, pools, shuffleboard. So down on deck 4 outside, there's a few shuffleball.
Which we did play, except we don't really know the rules, so...
We're just trying to get it in there.
Yeah. And it always seemed to like... to the side.
Okay, but I just want to go back to the sports court. We were up by the edge of the ship, and this basketball soccer ball goes flying off the ship way out into the ocean. Like whoopsie! Someone kicked it a little bit too hard. Anyway,
I don't think that was supposed to happen.
There's the gym.
Yes.
So.
Plus, there's classes in there.
Yeah, there's classes. The bikes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of cardio and weights in there. And then the public skating in the Studio B. But watch for that, because it's not every day.
And you do need to sign up on the app for that. And remember to bring long pants and socks.
But it was complimentary.
It was, yeah.
So I may have had to skate in my dress pants once on the Navigator, actually.
Right,
so bring some long pants. Because there's a few people who were borrowing pants, I saw.
Especially when you schedule your time, they'll make you go back up and find your pants. So
yeah. So there's a lot to do on the Adventure of the Seas, and we just had a great time. They just keep you busy, or if you just want to relax, you can do that as well. So those are our thoughts on the entertainment and activities on the Adventure of the Seas. So hope you enjoyed our likes and wishes from our Adventure of the Seas 8-night Caribbean cruise. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and until next time, happy cruising.